Right, so we've just left Pleasley Pit Cafe a couple of minutes ago. Now on Church Lane, just down the road. And we're going to go over this little spiral bridge. Suitable for horses, but fine for cyclists and pedestrians. And this takes you over the main Mansfield Chesterfield Road. So our left takes you back to the M1, junction 29, and right is Mansfield. So on a wet day, just be careful, it's a little bit slippy on there. And we're going to come in the back way now to Pleasley Vale, which is a lovely little place. Once was a mill, and the buildings still exist, and the mill ponds, but now full of businesses, industrial units, that type of thing. And it's a very pleasant place to ride. We're not going all the way through that today because that takes you out into a bit more road, but it takes you out towards Clipston and onto Sherwood Pines eventually. Today we're going to head up towards Shirebrook on the Archeological Way. So the actual route of the Archeological Way is just over to our right at the minute, just up in the woods, but it's a bit muddy today, and there was a railway line up there at one point, and there's a couple of old buildings where I believe possibly water containers or storage containers. They're a bit derelict, I wouldn't trust standing on the floor of them, but there's a little bit up there. I mean, it's mad to think that the stuff that came from the mills, serviced or was delivered or received by that railway, given the height difference and how high above the actual mill it is, the track, or the track bed, is pretty much parallel or just above the top of the roofs, and these are tall buildings, so yeah, pretty impressive really. Ooh, really wish I brought slightly thicker gloves today. It was forecast to be a more pleasant day than it actually is, and albeit it's dry, relatively wind free, it's not the warmest day. So that's Pleasley Vale. Just down there, you just see the barriers, and you can get down to the left and down through there. Very, very nice. Way, however, we're going to go this way, the Archeological Way. Just ahead and from our left was the Great North Railway, which came off the Midland and down into Mansfield. Sorry, Shirebrook. Now just up ahead, you see it just around this corner, is the bridge abutment for that line. There it is, and that is all that's left of it, which is a shame, but that's what happens. So there is the abutment, and the line went off to the right there and over to the left that way, and sadly that's all that's left, but still interesting to see. Okay, so still on the archaeological way, thought I'd show you a bit of it. Okay, so back on our line now, and we're not far from Creswell Model Village, and the Clowne branch line where we can get on it at Creswell, which has only happened in the last 2-3 years, I think. At one point you could get to the end from Poolsbrook and it just abruptly stopped, so you'd have to kind of climb down some steps to get there. Well, that's no longer the case, and there's a lovely path in there which was gravel initially. However, it did cause quite a few incidents, as the surface was very loose gravel and it just wasn't suitable for riding on. But fair play to the council, they did remedy it, and now it's lovely. So still on our old track bed, and this is going to bring us in to the top end of Creswell Model Village. So we're now here at Creswell Model Village. I mean, it's a beautiful little place, I can show you that. So as you can see, it's a giant oval. Lovely, there's houses around the back. So there's a row of houses all the way around, like an outer ring, and then there's an inner ring. A couple of parks for the kids, nice green area. Okay, so we're now at Creswell station, and you look ahead, there's the old signal box, no longer in use. Elmton and Creswell, it's a shame. It would be nice if it could be restored, because every year it gets worse. It's all locked off, but it would be lovely if that could be restored. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it'd be a shame to see it disappear. So, but where the track is there, we are now on that bit of gravel that I told you was a bit dodgy when they first put it down. Modified it to hard pack. So our original line that we're going to jump on, the Clowne branch line, which is now the Greenway, would have come just over from my right shoulder now onto trackbed from the main line, and it is a lovely, lovely little trail. Beautiful. Quite a lot of architecture still in place, quite a lot of information boards to give you the information you may need. It's just lovely, never too busy, close to a few populated areas, Creswell, Clowne, Bulborough, although I don't think you get on at Bulborough, so Clowne, and a few other little villages. So it just tends to get busy on a weekend, but as long as you're courteous, everyone's courteous back. So we've now got a very, very gradual incline. My computer's telling me it's 0. My legs are telling me otherwise. There we go, 1.5 degrees. It's not steep, just a drag. But once you reach Clowne, all downhill to Poolsbrook. But if you're coming from Poolsbrook to Clowne, it's all uphill. And albeit it's only 2-3%, you feel it after a couple of miles. I think the sign at the bottom far end says 1.5 miles. I don't think it is. I think it's probably 2.5. Feels like about 6 when you're grinding up it. Okay, so We're currently at Clowne station on the old Greenway. Beautiful. Now this was used for passengers and freight, and the old station building unfortunately is gone there, but the load of volunteers have done a great job of rebuilding a piece of the platform, putting up an info board, and we're about at the summit of this line. It's quite an incline from either end up to sort of Clowne station, but once you've crested, get a nice downhill run to Poolsbrook, and we'll cross Seymour Junction, which at one time had, I believe, 21 tracks down, and it's a huge place. If you ever get a chance to walk around it, full of old sleepers, wooden, concrete. There's a tunnel. You can see where posts were. The old signal box, which was vast, fortunately got burnt down, so that was demolished. But yeah, it's a huge complex. So we're on the downhill now, 1.5 miles to Bulbury, and then on to Seymour Junction, around the old colliery site, Poolsbrook, on to Poolsbrook Country Park, where there's a nice cafe. Doesn't open for hours and hours in the week. In winter, once the kids go back to school, tend to have reduced hours, but they are open on weekends. There's a park run there on a Saturday if you fancy it, although my wife says it's pretty boring because it's 2 loops of the lake, but it's different to running around the park, I suppose. And now I've got a nice bit of speed up on this downhill, only a 2%. It's enough just to make you feel a little bit better than the drag coming up. And all around you, beautiful scenery on what was the coal fields. Look at that. Look how inviting that is. Just beautiful. So quiet because it's a weekday. No one around. Past couple of dog walkers. That's about it. And just look how inviting that is. Got the M1 ahead. So that's the second time today we've passed under the M1. This is between the Seymour Junction and Chesterfield, I believe. And you can see this one's been cleaned, de-graffitied by painting over it, so I'm sure at some point people will be back out to decorate it. So we're now approaching Seymour Junction. We're there in a few miles. You can see some of the large buildings on the horizon, which were old collieries, now industrial estates, large factory units, and we'll be passing what was another branch line which went off to a collar whose name evades me. Apologies. But it went off to a large sidings where the coal used to be brought down by tram over the road. I believe in later years it was a conveyor. So the bridge ahead, I believe, is the back way up towards Bolsover. Yes, it is. And just to the left, don't think you'll see on camera, is our other branch, which went off to the colliery. So, this is Seymour Junction. You just see on the left there, about there, large pile of sleepers that go all the way down. Ballast is still present, and you can actually walk all the way down, follow the old track bed round, back towards the Big Bear distribution centre we've just come past. And if we turn this way, and you follow the track that way, you end up at the Chesterfield Canal at Staveley, where we're going in a bit. The old railway used to cross the canal. You can still see the abutments, and they've just put a new bridge in which replaces the old GCR bridge, which was knocked down in 2000, I believe, maybe a bit before. So we're going to go and see that later as well. So there you go, there's a new bridge, went in Monday I believe. The canal's going to go underneath it, and the bridge should be open by the end of this month, October. So yeah, that'd be fantastic. That replaces what was the old GCR bridge that was knocked down sometime 30 years ago I believe. So yeah, it's been great. There's been a lot of money invested, a lot of work. Yeah, fantastic. That'll be a lovely bridge to use in the future. And so if you go over it that way, you're going back to Poolsbrook, you just spin you around. This way is the Trans Pennine Trail, to Renishaw and Rother Valley, which we're not doing today. So we're going to head back now down the side of the canal. And we're now heading back towards Chesterfield. So this is the this is the Trans Pennine Trail. Just ahead and to the left you see a lot of ballast. Well, that is the old railway that started at Seymour Junction that I pointed out, and that goes on to Barrow Hill. Now overgrown, full of ballast, and still owned by Network Rail, so technically not supposed to go down there. Hello. However, I can tell you it is walkable, however it's very overgrown. There's a lot of architecture still down, posts, some signs, bridges, ballast all the way to Barrow Hill, which obviously you can't get to. Some old buildings at the end in a yard, not 100% sure what they were for, not been able to find any info out on those. And then here, where the canal basin is a new hub going up with moorings for barges or boats, canal boats. Yeah, looks like it's going to be fantastic. And that's gone up really quick, because I think 3 months ago was when they broke ground on it. So yeah, a lot of work, a lot of money going here. It's going to be fantastic when it's done. Nice place. I like to think there'll be a cafe in there. And now let's try to pick up the canal on the run into Chesterfield, 5-6 miles maybe. Quite a busy stretch, because again you've got a lot of residential areas off to the left and right of the canal, but it is lovely, and like I said, part of the Trans Pennine Trail, but this is a lovely stretch cutting through suburbia. And with a headwind today, as you can probably hear on the mic, and from the water you can see it's being pushed towards me. But it's warmed up, the sun's out, and as they say, there's no bad day on a bike. So this stretch here was an old railway. I didn't get a chance to show you, but at Hollingwood Hub there was a couple of bridge abutments. There's a station above where you still see part of the platform, and the subway that used to go up to it. You see the top of that, it's all been filled, and that line came down here and on into Chesterfield, and the GCR station that's now on the A61 dual carriageway not far from the station. In fact, the tunnel still there, buried behind a big vast concrete wall on the A61 on the bend, where there's a large footbridge going over the top. So if you pass in, you'll know a large vast concrete wall. You'll see it under the footbridge, and the tunnel's behind there. Still accessible if you can scale walls, but not advised because there's CCTV cameras. There's a good video on YouTube of it with, I forget the guy's name, I think it's Dave, where he goes in and explores it. Quite wet, as you'd imagine, but interesting to see. One fact for you, the tunnel portal over the top of it was a big stone with the date 1892 inscripted on it. That's now sat at Hollingwood Hub at the side of the canal built into the wall. So if you're ever wondering, when you're sat having a brew at Hollingwood Hub, where did that come from? That came from the old GCR line portal, a northern portal I believe, in Chesterfield. So there you go. So very shortly we'll be deviating from this line. You got the last few miles into the train station at Chesterfield. So I'm going to leave you here. You follow that couple of miles, Trans Pennine Trail, and you end up back at Chesterfield station. Can't go wrong. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Right, so first video done. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope you perhaps learnt a little bit about the disused railways we have around here. Maybe it's piqued your interest to investigate more. Maybe you know more than I do. I'm no expert. I just have an interest in it. Maybe it's piqued your interest to just perhaps and go and ride some of the sections. Perhaps you live close by, didn't really know that much about them, or perhaps you want to walk them. Plenty of places you can park along any of that route, and you can just take in small sections if you wish, or you can park anywhere on it and ride the whole loop. You could get the train to Chesterfield, ride the loop. You get the train to Chesterfield and ride some of the route. It really is awesome riding, and the world's your oyster. So hope you enjoyed it, got something out of it, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.